Have you ever heard of the largest military operation in human history, codenamed Operation Barbarossa? In early 1941, Adolf Hitler and his generals secretly planned the largest military operation in human history. Though Germany had signed a non-aggression pact with the Soviet Union in 1939, Hitler saw the vast lands of the East as essential to his vision of Lebensraum, living space, and sought to crush communism and the Soviet state. While Britain still held out in the West, Germany began massing 3 enormous army groups along a 2,900 kilometers front, stretching from the Baltic to the Black Sea. Stalin, despite receiving multiple warnings, refused to believe an invasion was imminent. On June 22, 1941, as dawn broke, the silence along the Eastern Front shattered. More than 3 million German soldiers, 3,000 tanks, and 2,500 aircraft surged across the Soviet border in a surprise assault. The German blitzkrieg smashed through Soviet defenses, overwhelming poorly positioned and poorly led Soviet troops. The Luftwaffe bombed Soviet airfields, railroads, and communication hubs, leaving the Red Army stunned and in disarray. In the first weeks, the German advance was astonishing. Massive encirclements at Minsk, Smolensk, and Kyiv led to the capture of nearly 3 million Soviet soldiers. Civilians fled in terror as German troops poured through broken front lines, burning villages, and seizing vast territories. Stalin, initially paralyzed, soon issued orders for a scorched earth policy: destroy everything so the Germans could not use it. As German armies moved forward, mobile SS death squads called Einsatzgruppen followed behind. Their mission: exterminate Jews, communists, Roma, and other perceived undesirables. Entire Jewish communities were rounded up, shot, and buried in mass graves. Atrocities like the Babi Yar massacre in Ukraine foreshadowed the industrial genocide to come. For civilians in occupied zones, Nazi rule meant brutal repression, starvation, and terror. By October, the German army stood at the gates of Moscow. Yet they were exhausted, stretched thin, and facing a determined Soviet defense. The autumn rains turned roads into mud. Supply lines faltered. As winter set in, one of the coldest in Russian memory, German troops, lacking winter gear, froze in trenches, while frostbite and hunger spread. Stalin, refusing to abandon Moscow, ordered every able-bodied citizen to defend the capital. In December, as temperatures plunged below 30 degrees Celsius, the Soviet Union launched a massive counteroffensive. Freshly arrived Siberian divisions, hardened for winter war, stormed the German lines. Soviet Katyusha rocket launchers roared to life, and the Wehrmacht found itself pushed back from Moscow in chaotic retreat. The myth of the invincible German army was shattered, and the Soviet Union had survived the unthinkable. The toll was catastrophic. By the end of 1941, over 4 million soldiers were dead, wounded, or captured on both sides. Civilians suffered famine, massacres, and deportations. The landscape was littered with corpses, smoldering ruins, and orphaned children. Barbarossa had become a war of annihilation, setting the stage for the horrific years to follow on the Eastern Front. Though Operation Barbarossa failed to deliver a knockout blow, it set in motion a brutal war that would end in Berlin. Over the next 4 years, the Red Army would regroup, rearm, and push westward, liberating Soviet lands and sweeping across Eastern Europe. In May 1945, the Soviet flag would fly over the ruins of Berlin, a symbol of Hitler's ultimate defeat and the Soviet Union's triumph.